Should I forget the camera lens today again? That's a real question. It's a question for your mom. Where's all the chatters? What's up, nerds? Uh-oh, we gotta fix our chat. Oh my god, right at the beginning, we gotta fix our chat again. Is it back? Oh, there it is. I was premature with my finger point. I was premature. I was super early with my finger point. Aussie Aquatic says, what is hard to fathom is how a new class of robber barons have so easily risen to absolute power over a country that had seemed to have dealt with that problem earlier in its history. You know, the bigger, the bigger statement in regards to that comment has more to do with the last 50 years than I believe most, well, let's see here. 1.1 billion people in China, 1.2 billion people in India, correct? India population. Let's see, the 1.45. Oh my God, India is going wild. World pop by country. We've looked at this before. The list. India 1.463. China says 1.41, but we saw a recent report that they had overestimated their population by over 100 million. So I'm going to stick with 1.2 billion. So right there, you have 2.6 billion people. Indonesia, 285 million. Pakistan, 255. Nigeria, Brazil, Bangladesh, Russia, Ethiopia, Mexico, Japan, Egypt, Philippines, Congo, Vietnam, Iran, Turkey, Germany, Thailand, Tanzania. There's 70 million people in Tanzania? Okay. Just based off of these numbers right here, I'm going to say a majority of the population of the world essentially haven't been paying attention to U.S. politics. And the reason I say that is that there is essentially a limit to how far-reaching the really base U.S. news goes in the world. And I say that because I live in America, and you have pretty much access to all of the inner workings of what's going on with the local government, what's going on with the state government, what's going on with the federal government, what's going on in Congress, top to bottom. You have access to that here in the States. Like, I really wouldn't expect that many people in India to even know that Utah is a state, right? Let alone weird laws being passed in a county in Utah, right? Occasionally, I would imagine that in the world news, there will be some kind of Supreme Court decision, occasionally a legislative bill that gets 20 seconds on the news, in the news cycle in the world, right? So I'm not shocked that people from outside the United States would be surprised as to what's been going on. I will say that I am personally shocked to the level of, and I don't even know if ignorance is the right word. I would say, I would almost characterize it as pure, unadulterated, cult-like ambivalence to the workings of the federal government, of the state government, and more often than not, the local government. In almost every community that I've engaged with in the United States. And when I just say community, I just mean geographically, right? And I am somebody who has been to lots and lots of parts of the United States. I am not somebody who has only stayed put here and just been like, well, this is where it got to be. A lot of people have asked me over the years, they're like, hey, where would you move, right? And there are some places in the United States that I would move to, but more often than not, most of those places I would move to lack any kind of economic opportunity, right? So, for instance, like, let's say I was going to move to Butte, Montana. I really like Montana. I like the hunting side, the hiking side, mountaineering, the wildlife, the photography, the space. You got wide open space, But then the reality is, it's like, what are we going to do economically to raise a family in Butte, Montana? Like, what product and or service would I bring to Butte, Montana? And you go, well, they have a big mine there, so you could drive a truck, right? You could operate a machine in the mine. You could do something with the railway. Let's see what current positions are available. Does this load if you click on it? Yeah, it does. It takes a minute. Cafe crew member at a restaurant, coffee place, $18 an hour. Operator, water treatment plant, so that's driving a truck. Amazon package delivery driver, $15 to $18 an hour. A special agent with the FBI, apparently. Warehouse worker, $22 an hour. Mobile dispatcher, $19 an hour. Dispatcher, $20 an hour. Medical courier, $17 an hour. NOC dispatcher, I don't know what the fuck that is. Atlas Power Supply? Okay, I don't know. Part-time teller, $16 an hour. Cashier, don't know what the pay information is. It's not provided, but cashiers don't make a lot of money. Retail associate. Manufacturing associate, we will train you, $18 an hour. Montana holiday clerk assistant, $20.95 an hour. Registered sanitarian in training. I don't know what a sanitarian is. The fuck is a sanitarian? We're looking that up. Sanitarian is a public health professional who protects and improves the health of communities by ensuring environmental safety. Okay, still don't know what it is. Inspect environments. Conduct inspections in public and private settings like restaurants, food production. Oh, I don't know why you wouldn't just say you're a health inspector, but okay. Sanitarian makes it seem interesting. $22 an hour. 911 communicator. RV and marine salesperson. School bus drivers. RV technician. Elkhorn Treatment Center. I don't know what kind of treatment it is, but I'm guessing it's... Let's see what the Elkhorn Treatment Center is. I'm guessing it's recovery because of all the drug abuse in Montana is wildly out of control, but it never makes the news. Okay, doesn't load on this website. Oh, it's because it wants me to sign in. Receptionist, medical aide, RN, store general manager, fly rod fishing. Yeah, so I mean, you get an idea that like the economics in that area are pretty much, or the economic opportunities there are pretty much limited to the idea that like, hey, we're hiring for retail or a machine operator or like an RN. I'm not a registered nurse. I'd have to go to school for 2 years for that. And so you kind of go like, okay, well, what are the opportunities if I move to that area? Like, what am I going to be doing? Am I going to start my own business? Am I going to start my own business to compete with the other businesses that are in the area? What's that going to cost? What's that going to look like? What's the housing going to look like? What am I going to do for health insurance in the meantime? What am I going to do for my family? What is my spouse going to do for work? So there have been a few areas that we as a family unit really enjoy, but they're definitely limited by the economic opportunities that you have to go to those areas, which is why we never moved. Which is why we never moved to any of them. We never had enough funds to just buy a place outright. Otherwise, I think we probably would have made the move and then figured it out if we were able to just buy a property with cash. Then we probably would have done that, but we never have been in that position. So, in saying that, I've traveled around the country a lot. And have always moved back to an area where I'm at, which is just Western Washington writ large, which is a fairly sizable area if you're not American. If you're not an American, you might think, oh, that's just like a state. So we need to find a country that's comparable in size, and I know I've looked this up before. Washington State is comparable in size to Syria, Cambodia, Uruguay, Senegal. So it gives you an idea that Washington State is Washington State is bigger than Albania, Austria, Bosnia-Herzegovina. The Balkans is twice as big as Washington. The Baltic states is about the same size. Washington's bigger than Belgium. Washington's bigger than Bulgaria. Washington's bigger than Switzerland. Washington's way bigger than Crimea. Washington's about the same as Belarus. The Czech Republic is smaller. Czechoslovakia is smaller. Germany is about 1.8 times the size of Washington. Washington's almost as big as the UK. But England is smaller. So it gives you an idea of, like, where I live. Now, the reason I bring that up, I keep moving back to this area for not only the economic opportunities, but also the social and diversity. The social connections that we have here on top of the diversity that we have here. I get it. Washington State is not one of the most diverse places in the world, but it is quite diverse in the fact that we are friends. We're pretty good friends with some people from India. We're pretty good friends with people from Japan. We're pretty good friends with some people from South Africa, from Nigeria, Vietnam, and Cambodia. Just kind of the close-knit situation. So it kind of gives you an idea that, like, there is diversity here. And so that's another one of the reasons that we live here. But there are a few places that we've thought to move to. Most of them are international, and a lot of them would be international for less to do with geography, but a lot more to do with the political side of things. I don't foresee a political opportunity for, and I should find the video. Hold on real quick. Okay, hold on. Let me find this video. And it does have to do with why Tangy. Why Tangy? We need the video here. Okay. We got the sound off. We need to add a source. Okay, here we go. We'll have it playing up here in the corner to give you an idea. We're not going to release the audio, okay? Because you get what a news desk person is talking about. You get it, right? News anchor is an actor, right, that reads a teleprompter. But this was 9 years ago in New Zealand, and this is highlighted to be referred to as the Waitangi incident, okay? And you guys will see here once we get to the portion of the video where the most important aspect of this video happens. And it is right here where a protester slaps the politician Stephen Joyce in the face with a dildo. And I am more on par with this level of political action. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying every once in a while a dildo should be slappeth across the face of irresponsible politicians. Right? Now, some people would say, well, why don't you just move to New Zealand? Well, that is easier said than done. I would prefer myself to exist and my family to exist in a country where the politics look a lot more like New Zealand, and people aren't regularly in fear for their lives for being gunned down in public, right? Or snatched away by masked buffoons who claim to have some sort of legal authority to do so. And I have attempted a few times to maybe go live with the Kiwis and be like, hey, what can we do? Can we build some stuff? Can we farm some things? Can we do some jobs and exist like human beings? And as of yet, I've been unable to do that. But to circle back to the initial question, I believe that I have sort of done my part to sort of highlight the last 50 years of the United States slowly dog walking ourselves right back into the position that we're in now, with eliminating unions, eliminating pensions, eliminating social safety nets, allowing billionaires to become a normalized term. When I was a kid, there was no billionaires, all right? And I know some people will be like, oh my God, but you're so youthful. What are you talking about? I'm 45 years old, okay? When I was a kid, there wasn't such a thing as a billionaire, but there was regularly things on the TV when Bill Gates went up to $200 million, right? Not billion with a B, million with an M. Wasn't it New Zealand when the guy poured out all of the Nazi golf balls for Trump in his new golf course? I think that was in Ireland, honestly. I think that was in Ireland. Kiwi Mamo says G is a soft G, but other than that, good pronunciation. I'm not the best at pronunciation. I got to hear it. I got to live in it. Like Hawaiian's kind of the same thing, man. You read Hawaiian street signs and you'll be like, I don't know what's happening with that word. I need to get an image here. We're gonna find one of them. What the fuck? Don't ever hit Alt while you're trying to do something. We gotta find a good one. Well, this one's easy because it's Kamehameha. I know that one. Shit, I'm not proving my point. Oh, here you go. Here's a good one. Like this street sign right here. I don't know what my dog is doing. Hold on. Are you bark dog? This isn't my actual. You guys have seen Lucy before. You guys have seen Lucy before, but have you seen? Hold on, let's get this out of here. You get the idea. Like, how do you say this? Alahanui? I don't know. But this is a good example. Let's remove this. So we have to have a dog minute here. The other dog is getting shots. What are you doing? Why are you way over there? Oh my God. Oh, she's round. She's small. She's round. She's Lola. And she's so cute. She's the cutest little dog that you ever did see. Pretty cutie. Mwah. She's a cutie. She's a little cutie dog. Can you say hi to... Bark dog. Bark. So she's normally on my lap whenever I'm inside the house, sitting down. And the other dog wasn't here, so now she's outside barking because she's probably trying to make up for the barks. You know what I mean? I'm going to text Vicky so she knows the dog is in here. Wait. Is she back home? Hello? I don't know. I heard a different dog barking. Okay, anyhow. But I feel like I feel like on my live stream here, I've definitely highlighted over the years the fact that we have deeply allowed this to happen. Like this, it's all just incrementally allowing things to pass, ending up with a Supreme Court that is just so deeply corrupted that it's just beyond the pale. I mean, I feel like I've highlighted it here numerous times. The level of just abject bizarreness that Brett Kavanaugh and Neil Gorsuch went to high school together. That's fucking bizarre. Not only is that bizarre, but Brett Kavanaugh and oh shoot, what's her name? Supreme. Can't remember her name now. Amy Coney Barrett. Brett Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett both worked on when Bush, I don't know if you guys remember this, but Bush had the air quote hanging Chad situation where it was pretty clear that there was sort of an intentional discrepancy built into the Bush-Gore election so that they could take it to court, and Gore just laid down and was like, fine, never mind, Bush won, okay. But there was a ton of intrigue around that election. A ton of nonsense happened. And strangely enough, Amy Coney Barrett and Brett Kavanaugh were both involved in that whole situation. So even just from the standpoint of the three newest members of our Supreme Court are somehow all associated with each other, have worked on things, went to high school together, and did all this stuff. That is, frankly, should be frontline news every day. But we've done so many things in this country over the last 50 years, like overturning Glass-Steagall, overturning the Fairness Doctrine, driving, like I said earlier, companies out of the responsibility of funding pensions or even having pensions for people, so that the U.S. citizen is more reliant on 401k retirement plans, which then tethers us to the stock market, which if you go back in time, if you go back in the Wayback Time Machine into the 70s, so if you talk to anybody who existed in the 70s, you could ask them, did you guys ever think about the stock market? And the answer is no. They never thought about the Dow Jones. They never thought about the S&P. They never thought about any of that shit because it was always, I don't know, that's just some weird shit that rich guys are gambling on, right? Might as well be the horse track or the dog track or the race car track, right? We're all just gambling on some fucking nonsense. But, you know, I've talked about it on stream here before, that people that were top earners to come out of the Great Depression were taxed at what, 94%, everything over a certain point. Income tax was 94%. If you go back to around that time when Ford was trying to pay its workers more at the time, there was the Ford versus Dodge. Supreme Court case that went out in 1919 that should be overturned, but either way, a company cannot take action that is against the interest of shareholders, right? So here's where this idea in law began in 1919. Is that the Ford Motor Company wanted to reinvest into their workers and whatnot. Now, one of the reasons that they wanted to reinvest into their workers as opposed to their shareholders was because the Dodge brothers were shareholders of Ford, and their intention was to create a new car company called the Dodge brothers, or whatever the fuck they were called. Ford knew about this and said, well, we don't want to pay out dividends because we want to pay our workers and stuff. So is it purely altruistic that Ford wanted to pay? No. But if you go read about this Supreme Court ruling, that is essentially why. Yeah, I texted you. She was outside. Bark, 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 bark. I didn't know what was going on, so I just let her in. She wasn't barking at me at the door. She was barking at someone on the street. And then I texted you. You want to go with Mom? I think she was... I texted you. Lola's with me. So you wouldn't get worried. I texted you on the text phone. Telefono. What are you doing? Every time. Love you too. But if you go back and read this Supreme Court case, essentially the Supreme Court sided with the Dodge brothers that that it would essentially be required that a company has to do everything for the shareholder value, based on the fact that the Supreme Court was essentially ruling that, the Ford Motor Company was doing this to punish specific shareholders, right? And this case law has been carried along by modern-day conservatives for so long now, but that's essentially where they were building this idea from, that the corporation is the most important thing in the world, which eventually does tie into things like Citizens United, right, where the Supreme Court ruled that corporations are people and they should just be able to give out as much money as they want for any politician or any political campaign or any thing like that, because apparently a corporation is now a person, which is just fundamentally brain broken. But these are the same group of people that brought you Project 2025. People like not unlike myself, tried to continually warn the American people that their plan is Project 2025, and they are doing it. All of the things that are happening in the United States right now is written down in Project 2025. You want to know the next thing they're going to do? Just go read it. Start at the top and work your way down, and then go, oh, wait a minute, they haven't done this yet. I guess that's coming next. And you'll seem like fucking Kreskin at this point. If you don't know who Kreskin is, he was a guy that would, predict the future, essentially. He's like a snake oil salesman, right? Like our current president. One thing I wanted to point out today is that it's not shocking because the guardrails have been taken off. We're 23, or sorry, we're not 23. We're $37 trillion in debt right now. That didn't happen overnight. This has been happening year after year after year over the last 25 years. right? The one thing I wanted to look up that I was listening to about earlier. One of the things that I wanted to look up was apparently our vice president was doing drag all the time. Did you guys know that? Did you guys know about that? JD Vance would dress up in drag all the time. He just wasn't good at it.
There can only be one divine.
No, I'm saying there's that guy on this is JD Vance right here. He would dress up in drag all the time. There he is. Your vice president. Dressed up in a dress and a wig and his eyeliner and everything. He's kept the eyeliner. But there's really only one. There's really only one drag queen for me right now. There's this guy. I gotta find him. Hold on.
Oh, I bet I know who it is.
See if I can't find him. What's his name? What's his name? Her name? I don't know. Oh, he's male presenting, right? Like regularly.
Yeah, male presenting.
This guy.
If it's the Hispanic
Glenn DeVar. Let me see if I can't get the fucking resolution to become clear. Why is this like fucking uploaded in 8-bit? Oh, it's probably my computer. My computer's freaking out. I had to re-upload a bunch of shit. Or not re-upload. I had to reinitialize a bunch of shit after a weekend. Do I have to like go to the website to get the full? I just want the image.
You want me to teach you how to...
Oh, it's a whole video.
Every man has a...
How do I
Every man has a dark
Where's
side.
the sound on here? This is by the way, this is the drag queen for me. Right here, right? Like by the way, way more manly than JD Vance. JD Vance's little pudgy little body. This guy's tall and he's got a fucking dope mustache. And by the way, he's so good at the fucking makeup that you're like, oh, this is a clown makeup. We got to find one that's not clown. Where's the...
Oh, you're thinking that other guy. I was thinking somebody else completely.
This guy's good at it. It's fucking unbelievable.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Oh, this guy right here? What's this guy? Oh, the Natasha. Yeah, it's not bad, but the other Glenn DeVar, right? Like Glenn DeVar, that's the one for me. That's what I'm saying. That's the drag queen of choice right there. Especially if you got a thick mustache and you're not hiding it. You know what I mean?
I was thinking, I can't think of his name now. There's a Hispanic guy who's really good, who's also male presenting, but always in drag, who I really like. Let's see if I can find him while you wander on.
Simon Brodkin is the guy who did the Nazi golf balls. Scotland. It was in Scotland. I thought it was Ireland, but Scotland. Let's see, where's the part where he gives them the There we go.
Sorry, Donald. Those are the new balls you ordered. Just got a few here for you, sir. These are the new balls available from the clubhouse as part of the new Trump Turnberry range.
Get him out.
A protester slash prank.
Yeah, if you can't tell what's going on in the video here, Simon Brodkin brought the swastika golf balls for Trump, so that so Trump could have an appropriate ball to play with, because he clearly is a part of the Nazi party. So he surely should have swastika golf balls. Trump told him to get out of there because he brought his own Nazi golf balls.
Sometimes he even takes them out of his pants.
Yeah. I do have to admit, like after the protests this weekend, I didn't expect. I mean, I should have expected it. I didn't expect the amount of like nonstop nonsensical rhetoric from the supposed conservative party in the United States. These likely Russian-funded, Qatar-funded, Iranian-funded fucking bot farm flood, the absolute flood of misinformation or nonsense in regards to the protests this weekend. It's absolutely absurd to hear people from the top of the United States administration claiming that, oh, everyone that protested is Hamas, right? Everyone that protested is a terrorist. The nonstop vilification of Americans from this, if you want to call it an administration, I would just call it like appointed fucking Nazis at this point.
My favorite was the fake news story that George Soros has to sell all of his holdings to be able to pay all the protesters that he agreed to pay.
Right.
That he's now bankrupt.
This whole idea that George Soros has funded a protest, they're paid protesters, which is crazy because it's the biggest self-own. It's the biggest self-own because once again, like the criticism is an admission, because if you guys remember, Donald Trump was paying people to stand behind him at Trump rallies. Not only did he pay union members and fake union members to stand behind him at rallies, he paid black groups of black people to stand behind him at rallies. He also paid groups of women to stand behind him at rallies. And like the first time people started to clue in on this was in 2018, when some of the people were standing behind Trump because they were paid and promoted to be put up there. And there was a young guy who was like grimacing when fucking Trump was talking, and people were like, why is that guy grimacing back there? Oh, whoops, that's a video. We don't want a video. We want an article.
To say nothing of Elon and his straight up unpaid $1 million per whatever to attend stuff.
What's that?
So to
I don't
say
know.
nothing of Elon and his $1 million payments in Michigan.
Oh, for people to vote. That was for people to vote.
Yeah, supposedly.
Which, I mean, in any other world, Elon Musk would be in jail for that right now. Yeah, and here's in 2020. Allies of Donald Trump have been holding events in black communities where organizers lavish praise on the president as they hand out tens of thousands of dollars to lucky attendees. The first giveaway took place last month in Cleveland, where recipients whose winning tickets were drawn from a bin landed cash gifts in increments of several $100s stuffed into envelopes. A second giveaway scheduled for this month in Virginia has been postponed, and more are said to be in the works. The tour comes as Trump's campaign has been investing its own money to make inroads with black voters and erode Democrats' overwhelming advantage with them. But the cash giveaways are organized under the auspice of an outside charity, the Urban Revitalization Coalition. If you guys remember, the Urban Revitalization Coalition was associated with the what was the where was it? What was that called? Do you remember what that was called? Where they were basically the opportunity zones. That's what it was called. Those
the
opportunity zones.
Those were in, I want to say, New York or Chicago. And then there were some in the Midwest.
The opportunity zones are all over the place. They're fucking everywhere.
Right.
They're not just in the Midwest. They're basically around any city where they've deemed that like this area needs gentrification. And the opportunity zones were essentially introduced by Nipsey Hussle, who was killed. So of course, his partner, what was his partner's name? Let me see. David Gross. And then, who was it? Dude, I don't not understand why this... We're back. It's happening again. This computer is
What?
waking up for no reason.
Uh-oh.
It's like the other computer over there just like turns on. Like, hey, or do you want to do something? It's like, no, I'm not. I didn't touch the keyboard at all. I don't know what the fuck you're doing. Who was it? It was T.I. That's who it was. Yeah, so Nipsey Hussle was the guy that, like, essentially they sort of stole the opportunity zone idea from him, which received, like, a lot of criticism because the idea behind the opportunity zone is that, oh, what we're going to do is we're going to develop these areas that are downtrodden. But ultimately, like, what ends up happening is that if you take an inner city area, right, where a lot of people have been living, and it's sort of a poorer community, but they're generationally been living there, right? Is that so? Think of it as like, 65-year-olds that have just lived in this area their whole life. They own sort of a rundown old house, but they own it. They've lived there for, 40
Right.
years. They don't have a mortgage anymore, than everything like that. They're reaching retirement age, which is one of the bigger problems as to like why these areas sort of get run down, is that you have a working class, you have a large population of working class that has no social safety net. Pensions are gone. Unions are gone. Minimum wage sucks. Inflation has been fucking out of control for the last decade, starting with Donald Trump's fucking insane bullshit policies. But you could track them all the way back to 2008 if you want, pretty easily. And they've lived in this area a long time, and all of those pressures on top of them. And a lot of times there's a large neighborhood of people that are just basically on Social Security. Now, what the Opportunity Zone does is it picks a small part of that area that is like, old bodegas, old corner stores, old shit like that, right? And they say, well, we're going to develop this area. So we're going to put in some new stores. We're going to tear everything down. We're going to put in some apartments, which ultimately end up being condos, right? So it's not an accessible living space for any of those people. But then what ends up happening is, once that's done, the previous business owners that used to be invested in the community are all gone, because they can't afford to just not have a business for 2 years. The Opportunity Zones do not allow for an investment into the previous business owners in the area, right? And then the cascading effect from there is that, like, yeah, you tear down this city block, you rebuild it. Now all of a sudden there's a fucking Sbarro, a Starbucks, a fucking Sonic Burgers, a couple of fucking retail places that nobody can really shop at. Like let's say there's an Apple store there all of a sudden, right? What ends up happening is that all of those condos get sold, right? And those condos aren't sold for a small amount of money, right? They're not sold for $20,000, right? These condos are more often than not really close to downtown. So you have to think of who they're being marketed to, right? They're being marketed to business professionals that need to be close to downtown, right? So these end up being $500,000, $700,000, $900,000, $1.5 million, whatever the fucking number is in the different city. The investors and the developers make a bunch of money. They get a bunch of tax breaks, and they get a bunch of tax incentives to do this, right? Then starts the real fucking situation, because all of those houses around the area and all of those generationally lived in properties, guess what happens to the value of those properties? They suddenly start to skyrocket, because in the United States, our properties are based on what are called comps, right? Comparable property sales. So if you have a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house with a little driveway and a tiny little postage stamp of a yard, and like a basement, right? Now suddenly they go, oh, well, you have this house that's 2,100 square feet with the 2 bathrooms and the 3 bedrooms and the little driveway. So it has, air quote, off-street parking. And then they base the evaluation on that based on the sales of those brand new condos down the street. All of a sudden, your property taxes go from, $2,800 a year to $7,800 a year, because now the evaluation on your property has fucking skyrocketed. And if you're an older person who's lived in a place a long time, it doesn't mean that you suddenly just make $100,000 a year job. Maybe you still just work at the whatever blue collar job you were doing this whole time. It doesn't mean you suddenly are making more money. So if you're having problems making ends meet, and the reality is what people will tell those people is they go, who cares? Because now you have equity, right? You have essentially what is called an unrealized gain, right? The thing that you own is suddenly worth a bunch more money, right? But the value to you is it's your home. The value to you doesn't have as much to do with the financial side of it as it does the emotional side of it. It is the home that you've lived in. It's the home that you raised your kids in. It's a blah, 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 right? And you want to stay in your home because you're an old boomer, and boomers are required by law to want to stay in their home that they've lived in. So they don't want to leave. Well, what ends up happening is they get stubborn. They want to stay. They want to stay in their place. And then fucking white people that don't live there, and I will pigeonhole white people because I've only ever heard this from white people, is that they'll just go, you have this asset, just sell the asset and move somewhere else. And it's like, move somewhere else where? This is these people's home. They don't want to move somewhere else. This is their home. This is where they live. And
Their life.
you know, the Opportunity Zone program, to me, is a perfect parallel of the corruption within this administration, right? Is that there is a way to sell this to dim-witted Americans who do not pay attention to politics. They refuse to do it, right? They're in a cult. They think that there is a magical God that is going to take them to a heaven afterlife, in which I would like to highlight that one of the local Jehovah's Witnesses have found my address and started sending me handwritten letters.
Oh, nice. Handwritten letters.
Yeah. I would say it's likely from an auto pen, would be my guess. I would guess that the handwritten letter is from an auto pen. I'm going to walk over there and see if I can meet the guy. It's not that far away. It's like 2 miles away. Some people would say, why are you going to walk there? And I'm saying, I don't want to drive my truck over there.
That's right.
And be on camera.
Knock on him.
What's that?
Knock on his door, say, I've come to talk to you about nothing.
No, you sent me this letter. I'm here. What do you want?
Right.
But regardless, these people they're in a cult. They do not want to talk about religion. They do not want to talk about finances. They do not want to talk about civil rights. They do not want to talk about politics. They want to vilify an outgroup, right? They want to vilify transgenders. They want to vilify the gay. They want to vilify black people. They want to vilify anything that they perceive to be outside of their in-group, because where they live, it's the only group that exists. If you live in bumfuck Kansas, the only in-groups that exist are the fucking churches. The churches have a fucking stranglehold on huge swaths of the United States. They're profoundly influential. They're in a lot of towns in the United States. They're the really only third place you can go to where you can interact with your community. There may or may not be a restaurant or a bar, right, in the town. There may be lots of restaurants and bars in town. But there is really, if you're not privy to what it's like in the United States, if you go to a restaurant or a bar in the United States, you're pretty much there by yourself. Like, that's how it is in the U.S. Like, you don't meet, there's this huge myth that you, like, meet people out at bars and restaurants and stuff.
Yes.
if you've ever been
fictional
to a restaurant in the United States, like people request to sit in the booth, right? Like the high back booth. So you don't even have to see any other people while you're sitting at your table, right?
Yep.
I was always kind of considered to be like a weird aberration because like I would social butterfly back in the days when I used to drink because I wanted to meet people. That's why I was out there. I also want to do Witchy Cat, cover your ears. I want to explore other people's genitalia, okay?
Say it isn't so.
I wanted to it's a 4-letter word. It's called hole. You know what I'm talking about.
I do believe I know of what it is you.
Yeah, and by the way, like that, I don't know if have you ever been to a restaurant in like Oklahoma?
Well, Missouri does that.
Yeah, well there you go. Missouri's good. You aren't meeting anybody at a restaurant in Oklahoma or in Missouri, right?
No.
You're not meeting anybody.
In the smoking section, and then you just meet your lighter.
Yeah, I mean it's like you're not really meeting anybody. You know, and by the way, in the off chance that you do meet somebody like out at a bar or whatever, like I said, the reality is singularly focused on holes or poles. You know what I'm saying? It's either dicks or vaginas. You know, like that's what people are in pursuit of. You're not making a whole bunch of new friends when you go out to in like as you say in New York, we have huge bar towns. Big bar parties all the time. I don't know what a big bar party is all the time, but I've been to a lot. I've been to every club, diner, smoky fucking pool hall, name it. I'm in recovery for a reason. Like I've been to all the places. Realistically, back in the day, like if you really wanted to meet people, probably one of the few places that you could do it was Burning Man. Nowadays, I don't think that's the case anymore, but yeah, and like I said, almost every town in the United States has a ridiculous amount of overbearance of these fucking churches, church activities, church influence. Churches have influence over daycares. Churches have influence over school boards. I don't know if you've ever been to a school board meeting where some fucking whack job Karen starts screaming about Jesus, but I have. The churches have they're tax exempt. They collect money from people. They're able to do basically whatever the fuck they want because there are really no limitations on what they can influence and how they can do it. They regularly preach on the pulpit about politics, and they are never punished for it. I could sit here and pull up tons and tons of undercover video of people filming video of preachers on the pulpit preaching about who to vote for and whatnot. There are public videos of Marjorie Taylor Greene going into churches and yelling at people about who they need to vote for, right? Like if you don't believe me, go look it up. And if they are that brazen in public, how brazen do you think they are in private? And by the way, the parent dynamic over the children. One of the things I was had heard about earlier today, or maybe this last week or something. Somebody was highlighting an experience that a young man had living in a Christian family, that he had somebody had caught him masturbating when he was like 17 years old. Like the dad or the mom walked in on a kid masturbating, and they grounded him for a month. He was grounded for a month because he was caught masturbating.
Stay in your room by yourself for a month. Okay.
First off, you have a good point that it's hilarious that, like, all right, well, you better stay in there and just keep jacking off, right? Like, you know, No, but it's yeah, people don't. My point for bringing it up is not like let's write a comedy sketch. My point for bringing it up is that something like masturbating is a perfectly natural and healthy thing to do. There is nothing wrong with it. There's no shame behind it. There should be no problem with people doing that. Which, by the way, almost always ties into our sponsor of today's show. This vibrator right here, brought to you by, I don't even know what the company is. What's the company? I don't know. I don't even know what the company is. It's just one I found on Amazon because we're an Amazon affiliate. So you click through the link and you go buy stuff and then we get money, whatever. Okay. The joke's over. All right. But on to the more serious part that I was talking about, the amount of trauma that is inflicted on young people in the United States by these corrupted fucking Christian nationalists, essentially, right? Like, they're totally fine with it. They don't care. They don't care about other people. They don't really care about their community. They don't even care about their own children. They don't even care about their own children having a healthy experience, right? Now, I don't think it's a healthy experience for anyone to have been walked in on by their parents, okay? I understand. That's a little embarrassing and a little fucked up, but it should really be isolated to, oops, we got to have, whoa, hey, whoa, right? You know, like this shouldn't be years worth of fucking trauma and living under a fucking cloud of shame, right?
Right.
And it's the kind of thing that deeply affects people to the point where every time that there's a fucking Republican convention somewhere, Grindr crashes. And if you don't know what Grindr is a website where you can go on and match with people to essentially have anonymized sex with. Right? It's a hookup site. What's that?
Gay sex. Grindr is a gay version thereof, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a gay, but there's really no, what do you think they're actually like carding people on the way into their website? I mean, I'm pretty sure you can find everybody on there.
Sure.
But it's, you know, it's targeted towards man on man gay sex, right? I was almost going to be like totally crass and be on the pale, but just from that standpoint, and these are the exact same people that refuse to have any kind of political conversation. And the reality behind it is that this population in the United States, they don't want to have political discussions, because if you really engage them with an honest conversation about what their politics are, you will open up a jack-in-the-box of some motherfucker wearing a clown hood, a Klan hood, right? That these people are indoctrinated into white nationalism, that somehow white is the default, that somehow, that Jesus was white. Like, they don't even know who their fucking supposed Lord and Savior is, right? They put up a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, fucking wispy-looking Nordic fellow hanging up on a cross, nailed to a cross, which, by the way, you want to talk about, like, disgusting imagery. Like, I don't know, why don't we just have crucified people all over the place all the time in fucking paintings, right? Like, so anytime you want to talk to your kids, you just point to that thing and go, look, that'll happen to you, right? Hello, Joel and everyone. Who aren't the ones that started this new cult? Former fanatics of other beliefs? Fanatic Scientologists, fanatic Christian churches, fanatic power-hungry businessmen? Who aren't they? I mean, I don't know if we, I don't know. I don't understand the I don't understand the point of. I don't understand the question 100%, but like, Scientologists have influence, but realistically, that was just a way for L. Ron Hubbard to avoid paying taxes. I mean, that's all it was. I mean, if you've ever read any of the Scientology stuff, it's just as crazy as the Bible. So let me put it that way. Scientology is as insane as the Bible. Period. It's the same insane fucking crazy stuff. And it's all made up by a writer of fiction. Who aren't the ones that started this new cult. More to my point is that this is not a new cult. More to my point is that like this is systematically progressed over time in especially closed off areas of the United States. Like that's the population that we're dealing with, right? You know, I recommended you guys to go watch the Necessary Conversation with Chad McClutchin and Haley, the brother and sister, and they talk to their parents. Their parents are from the middle of the country. They're supposed Christians. His dad is a veteran. And you can actively watch them talk to their boomer parents who just talk shit to them, essentially. And more to the point is like, and you can identify it from the standpoint of that, like, it's clear that their dad is abusive. He might not be physically abusive, but he is verbally abusive in their conversations, right? He's absolved because he believes in Jesus and he believes in Trump. And there is no, and you can see from the dynamic that there's a clear control over their mom, right? His wife. That like, there's a lot of times where she'll go like, yeah, I don't agree with that. I think that's wrong. We shouldn't be doing that at all. And then they'll ask the question of like, so you disagree with Trump? Well, yeah, I disagree with him on that. Oh, okay. Well, what are we going to do? So at what point is she going to, consider it too far to continue supporting Trump? And it just never reaches that line. It doesn't matter how many people are killed. It doesn't matter how many innocent people are killed. It doesn't matter how many innocent people are Gestapo kidnapped, sent to fucking gulags. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's never over the line. It's never over the line for her. And a lot of it has to do with like the fact that she is beholden to the church. She is beholden to her husband, and clearly has lived her entire life, the majority of her life, being abused by a church community, right?
Right.
James Wendell says, I'm agnostic. I don't believe Jesus is God, but there is a lot of proof that a guy named Jesus was crucified. I mean, if you want to show me whatever imagined proof that you have, okay, cool. Was there a guy named Jesus that was crucified 2,000 years ago? Okay, bet. Like, probably. You know what? If there were people around named Jesus, they were probably crucified because they crucified shitloads of people back then. By the way, those are the same people that were able to architecturally design the Parthenon at an angle with giant stone columns, right? They were able to build it at an angle so it looks straight up and down. They were able to do the math on that 2,000 years ago and build it and complete it and do all that. They were able to do that 2,000 years ago, and they were also capable of stabbing people and nailing them to pieces of wood formed into a cross and allowed to be pecked upon by birds until they finally died out there. So, yeah, was there a guy who was crucified? Yeah, I don't even debate that. I'm not even debating against that, right? My debate would be there's zero evidence that that was the Son of God. There's zero evidence that that person was dead and then came back to life. There's zero evidence that that guy, any of these motherfuckers ever walked on water or turned water into wine or any of the other nonsensical fucking bullshit in any of these books. The supposed miracles that happened, right? Which, by the way, why, over the last 20 years, why have the amount of miracles, air quote, miracles, gone down precipitously over the last 20 years? There used to be miracles all the time. Jesus was showing up on toast, right?
Cheese sandwiches, yes.
Why was that happening all the time 25 years ago? But then over the last 20 years, somehow the miracles just keep dwindling and dwindling and dwindling, right? Because those miracles, air quote, always relied on anecdotal fucking, what do you call it when you testify, right? They were anecdotally testifying that a miracle happened to them. I had leukemia and it's cured by Jesus. Oh, okay, cool. So what doctors have you been seeing? None. But I had leukemia, right?
Yeah.
You know, how many times did like Jesus saved me from crashing a car? That's where the Jesus Take the Wheel song came from, right?
Yeah.
And I more refer to the I don't care if it rains or freezes as long as I got my plastic Jeebus sitting on the dashboard of my car, right? Because at least the honesty there is that you just have some plastic bullshit on the dash of your car. Like, you're just going to die anyhow and it doesn't matter, right? But, like, you know, that's where the Jesus Take the Wheel song came from, right? That all these miracles kept happening, and then somehow the introduction of dash cams suddenly, right? Like, all of a sudden, the miracles just seem to have dried up. The miracles have seemed to have dried up, just like Ben Shapiro's wife's vagina. Dustier than the fucking Sahara.
Wah, wah.
My
Some of
favorite,
them unbelievable. Like, I haven't had a good Bermuda Triangle story in who knows how long.
yeah, whatever happened to the Bermuda Triangle? Everybody just kept shipwrecking there and getting abducted by aliens. Whatever happened to alien abductions, right? These
Right.
every motherfucker, including myself, has their goddamn cell phone on them all the time. Are they getting abducted and we don't have any cell phone?
Yeah.
We got no cell phone? I mean, you could at least have location data turned on, right? Right? Maybe you didn't have the ability when you were abducted by the aliens to film the video of them, I don't know, fisting your butt or whatever the aliens do. I'm not sure. Yeah, strangely enough, it's always like sex stuff. You ever notice that? You ever notice that, like, all of those alien abduction stories are always like, well, I don't know, they were touching my butthole, you know, and you're like, so last night you were driving where? Oh, backcountry road, okay. And then a spaceship came down and abducted you and did stuff with your butt.
And then stole some cattle.
And then, like, what? What are we talking about here? Yeah, and so it's strange that all the miracles have dried up. Actually, you know what? We should really broach the subject. I kind of brought it up. I brought it up about Ben Shapiro's wife's vagina. To be clear, it's not, her vagina's not dry because of like a medical condition. It's the fact that her husband is completely unable to make it wet. That's what I'm saying. Is that Ben Shapiro is unable, lacks the ability to summon the moisture, as it were. You know what I'm saying?
And yet someone still can manage that for Steve Miller and Elon Musk, the same woman. Terrifying.
The same woman,
Terrifying.
what?
She left, supposedly, Steve Miller's wife began dating Elon Musk not long after he left the administration.
I was talking about Ben Shapiro. I wasn't talking about Stephen Miller.
Saying that Ben Shapiro's at least semi more appealing than Steve Miller. So it amazes me that any of them get laid is where I was going with that.
I don't know what's
Go
happening. I don't know what's happening right now.
But just go.
What? Do I need to explain it to you?
No, I understand.
I mean, I can explain coercion. Right.
Yes.
Do I need to
Where I
do
was going with it.
Do I need to do that for you?
No, honey.
I can explain how these men utilize the religion I've been criticizing for the last half an hour to cudgel women over the head, that they will be going to hell if they don't
I do not need.
if they don't get locked into a fucking baby making lifelong commitment with a fucking sociopath, right? I could explain that. I could explain that these women have been indoctrinated by their likely abusive fucking parents, including their fathers, right?
Especially their father.
It's a 50-50 for sure. Mothers can be extraordinarily abusive to their children, is my point.
Oh, yeah. I'm not.
The power dynamic isn't the same when it comes to men and women, right? Like most men, stereotypically, most men could overpower a woman, strictly in a stereotypical scenario, right? Most men are, most men, like, not unlike myself, are, about 6 feet tall, about 200 pounds, fucking muscle and steel,
Is that what that is? Okay.
Muscle and steel.
So you say. Moving
and
on.
and a fucking cheeseburger. And some ice cream. And some ice cream, dude. I'd be fucking cream jamming, you know what I'm saying? But stereotypically most men can overpower a woman, right? Just
Yes.
speaking stereotypically. And so the power dynamic, as described there, is that a lot of men could physically overpower a woman. Thusly, I'm just saying that, like, thusly that lays out a power dynamic throughout the rest of people's lives, right? That, like, there really is no, oh, well, hey, now I'm 65 years old. I guess that power dynamic is gone now, right? It's like, no. There's still 65-year-old dudes that could probably clobber you over the head or whatever, you know what I mean? Caveman it up. And so for women in a, what do you call it? The man and woman relationship dynamic. What am I thinking of here? The traditional relationship, right? Husband and wife, right?
Right.
Like there can exist a power dynamic between the husband and wife for the eternity of their lives, right? Now the thing is that, like, mothers essentially have that same power dynamic over their children, right? There is at least a 15-year period where the kids could not defend themselves physically from their mothers, right?
Yes.
Right. And so when I say that, like, women can equally be as abusive, that's my point. Is, like, that's my foundation, is that women have the ability And it definitely happens a lot more than I think people realize. And it's less common that women are physically abusive to their children. Although I would say that it's likely way more common than people think, right?
Yeah.
It's not like, 5% of mothers abuse their children, because we know that way more than 5% of the United States population spanks their children and commits fucking corporal physical punishment on their children.
Right.
And so when you couple that with psychological and emotional abuse and physical abuse, right? People would be like, well, spanking your kids isn't physical abuse. And it's like, okay, let me set the stage for you. Let's say you have a 7-year-old kid. Let's say your kid is at my house. Let's say your kid misbehaves. Let's say I decide, I'm going to take that kid into the other room and I'm going to put them over my knee and then physically hit them while they cry. What exactly has happened? Because as far as I am concerned, you have committed felony fucking child abuse, right? But
Agreed.
for some reason, in the fucking Bible people in the United States, if you do that to your own kids, it's fine. Kids need to learn a lesson by hitting them. Right? And plenty of moms do that shit in the United States. I don't know about India or China. I didn't grow up there. I don't know. But I will say that there are millions, and I'm not even mincing words here. There are millions of Christian moms that hit their children, right? Because that power dynamic exists between adult and child. I personally think it should be punished. I think that abuse should be considered criminal and should be against the law. And if you can't figure out how to punish your kids without physically attacking them, then probably your kids should be taken away, because it's fucked. It's absolutely fucked. And it will fuck them up for the rest of their lives. They won't know how to relate to other people for the rest of their life, because you will found on the foundation of their understanding is that people will physically attack them if they've done something inappropriate, right?
Yep.
And how does that then turn into a peaceable group of people that want to sing fucking Kumbaya on Sunday? Because you could go fucking turn on Man on the Street interviews right now with those conservative freaks are calling for the death of 2/3 of this country. And they're advocating for it openly. And by the way, this is the same group of people that had effigies of Obama hanging from nooses in their front yard.
Yeah.
And I seriously want to find some fucking Trump supporters that are crying these absolute alligator tears that people are making fun of them. And go back through their search history and go, how many times did you post about Obama being a monkey? Right?
Or Michelle being a man or whatever.
Yeah. Somehow, yeah, Michelle Obama is suddenly trans, and they just laugh. And by the way, what's her name in Arizona when she was shot? I can't remember her name.
Gabby Gifford.
Gabby Gifford. Like, Gabby Gifford, Target ad. Oh, I don't think we can find it They must have wiped it off the net.
Is it a political ad?
It's a political ad. There was a political ad against Gabby Gifford at the time, before she was shot. There was a political ad that ran on the local TV that had a target, like a fucking gun target, to
Yep, I
target
remember.
target Gabby Gifford.
Yeah, it was from Palin, I believe. From a
I
statement.
seriously, I'm considering dropping Google.
People use DuckDuckGo nowadays.
Nah, DuckDuckGo is tainted. What's it called? Hold on, I'll find it here in just a second. We need... gotta go over here. I can find it. Oh, I gotta go through all this crap. Maps. Download and maps. Kagi. Kagi. Have you looked into that at all?
No. Tell me more.
So I figured I'd bring it up during the show so we could talk about it.
Okay.
And I can never remember the name of it. So I'm likely switching over to this, but it is a paid search engine.
Oh.
And I wanted to look up how much it where is it? And I wanted to pose the question, because I think it's a where is it? No, there's a free version, I believe. Yeah, there's a free trial version, 100 searches with standard AI, right? And then I believe there's like a $5 a month that's 300 searches. There's professional that's unlimited searches that's $10 a month. But the reason I wanted to bring this up, let me I'll share it on screen here. I wanted to bring this up because this is what's hilarious. So this is a small company that's doing this, right? I'm unaffiliated with this company. If anybody knows somebody at Kagi and they want me to get involved, just let me know. But the funny thing is, WitchyCat would know about this. That's one of the reasons I wanted to bring it up during the stream. So Kagi uses all of the Google mainframe and hardware and everything, and their programming and shit. It's all based.
Oh, cool.
It's all based on Google's shit.
Right.
But they've removed it. But Google actually uses Kagi as their precursor search. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah, so Google actually uses Kagi as their precursor search. Then it runs through their algorithm in order to promote whatever is paid up to the top, right? And so Kagi is essentially utilizing all of Google's development. Then they developed theirs further. But Google is using Kagi to operate all of their shit.
How funny.
Fucking insane. And I'm like, wait, what? And so I did some searches with it earlier. Friday? Thursday? I don't know. And the reality is this way different. But I'm just trying to figure out if it's worth the like $10 a month.
What? I'm gonna have to let you test it because that puts it out of my budget at the moment. But yeah,
You could, but you could run 100 searches for free. You get a free trial.
that is.
So I was going to see if some of y'all wanted to do the free trial, and then let me know what your feedback is on, your experience and seeing what the difference is. Because I saw on just kind of the cursory stuff that I did a significant difference of the internet feeling like it used to feel like 10 years ago, if that makes sense.
It does. Let me.
I mean, minus the pop-ups and shit. It actually has better security because the CAGI isn't letting any of the companies that Google pays for your information. They're not collecting any of that information because you're working in front of Google, essentially, right?
Nice.
Which is a big deal. And I think that's how the Jehovah's Witnesses got my information somehow. They probably like some Facebook search or something.
Stupid Jehovah's Witnesses anyway.
In 1958, we banned hitting adults, workers, and women. 1958 banned hitting in schools. Sweden then banned hitting children in all forms in 1979, being the first country in the world to do so. Correction, hitting workers and women was 1858. I was going to say 1958 doesn't sound right. It sounds a little late. Bare Bottom Branton says, I wish aliens would play with my butt. One could be so lucky. I mean, I would say that like pretty much any interaction with like an actual extraterrestrial species that flew here in their fucking spaceship, I mean, whether it was butt stuff or not, I mean, you're pretty lucky is what I would say. That's pretty lucky. Although I do have to worry about the biological implications. You know what I mean? Just considering like how fragile the human existence is. Like, did you know that you could get a worm in your brain that could eat part of your brain? Did you know that?
I did.
You did.
I mean, look at our perfectly exciting, whatever the fuck RFK considers himself to be.
I gotta share with you guys one of the best
Means.
Yeah, one of the best signs. It was seen
Oh.
It was seen at the protest, and I think now it's been replicated. Yeah, it's been replicated into stickers ad nauseum by Elon Musk. Elon Musk's fucking AI scroll shit on fucking Twitter. Yeah, this is a good one. It's seen as a protest sign over the weekend. And now you can buy the stickers now from whatever like automated fucking like AI program. Oh, here it is. Here's the original. There it is. As seen on the protest. Fucking strong, dude. I love it. My other car is RFK Jr.'s brain. If you guys don't watch on YouTube, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you should watch. There's some hot shit going on around here.
I've seen that one.
Talking about aliens doing butt stuff. Come on now. Glenn Tookshire posted a comment last week that he's trying to figure out how to get back to Discord. If somebody could go into last week's last week's live stream and help Glenn get back to Discord. That would be a big help. Where are the... Hey. Is that last week?
Yeah, I remember seeing that was his replay Team 6 comment.
Okay. Where are the comments?
They've hidden them in the app on the phone. It's a bitch to find them. You have to pretend like you're gonna comment, and then it will give you the option of reading everybody else's.
Yeah, they're intentionally trying to filter comments out.
Their text. After we're done, I'll go in and
What's that?
assist. Said after we're done, I'll go in and assist.
This weekend was very short. I had yesterday to have a weekend, and I went with the family to the pumpkin patch, which was fun. And then it started hailing like crazy. But all the kids were right. We were there for like 4 hours, so it wasn't a big deal. It didn't hail up until... What's that?
Said, wow, 4 hours at a pumpkin patch.
You might not realize what the pumpkin patches are like these days.
It's true. It's been a decade or two since I've been to one.
So they have 3 giant barns that are dining halls.
Okay.
They have a barn dedicated to a corn pit. It's like 2 feet of dried corn.
Okay.
In a barn, and the kids just go in there and go crazy.
And be cheap and good.
Which I also went in there. They have pig race. They have pig races. They have a corn maze that is gigantic, and it's the shape of Washington State and all of the streets.
Oh,
from
cool.
I-5 to whatever 101 and everything. So you can figure out where you are in the maze because you're like, wait, I'm on I-5 north. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, I'm on I-97. Okay, I'm probably near Wenatchee or something, right? Like, they have, like I said, they have hay rides. They have apple orchard, a pear orchard, and don't pick the crab apples. You'll get in trouble if you pick the crab apples. Don't do that. They have a zip line. That's like 5 zip lines. The kids can run them all the way up the hill and go flying down on the zip line. They have slides. They have goats. You could pet goats. They have a petting zoo. They have duck races. They have pig races. They have a donut barn where they make donuts, fresh donuts. They have corn on the cob, the elote style or regular style, which is basically like you want it gringo or Mexican. Then they have like this huge obstacle course for kids.
Nice.
Built out of like Lincoln logs. It's huge. Then they have those giant bouncy inflatable bouncy thing for kids. I don't understand. Let me see. Inflatable bouncy kids giant thing. I don't know what this thing is called. It's like a big, it's shaped like a giant pillow. And it's probably 100 feet long and 50 feet wide, and it's inflated. And there'll be like 100 kids jumping on it all at the same time.
Popcorn,
And
yeah.
I can't find a picture of it, but they have multiple of them. They have ones for it's dependent on your height. So you go to this one if you're little. If you go to this one if you're medium, you go to this one if you're a little bit older kids. And then they cycle in and out in like 4-minute spurts. So they go in there, they go crazy, and then they come out, and then they go back in line to go jump on the giant thing again. Yeah, it's like one giant trampoline. But like I said, I don't know how to search. I don't know how to search for this thing, because all I'm getting is like bouncy castles. It's not a bouncy castle. I mean, think a bouncy castle. I don't know. I mean, they have basketball. They have like they have built-in basketball hoops with the automatic ball return. You know, I mean, it's a shitload of stuff. I mean, it's a huge property, and they have pumpkins, and you get pumpkins too. Also, it's a farm. A lot of the farms with the pumpkin patch thing, they've built around it in order to maximize their income, because it's like, you know, I mean, you have to think of it in terms of like, okay, I own 150 acres or something or whatever, right? Or 500 acres. And, you know, like we work all year long, and then we wholesale our corn and our pumpkins and our apples and our this and our that. And just to make up a number, right? Like, let's say they sell $1 million worth of food, and then at the end of the year, they, after all their expenses and shit, they go, well, we made $30,000, right?
Right.
But the question is like, could you sell that food, that same food that you're selling wholesale, could you sell it retail without you going anywhere, right? So think the idea of like, have you ever been to a blueberry patch, right? Where they're like, fill up this box, and it's $10 or whatever, right? And you pick them. You pick the raspberries, or you pick the blueberries, or you pick the apples, or whatever, right? If you do the math on what they're charging you for that, they're essentially charging you double what wholesalers would pay, right? So let's say they normally sell their apples from their apple orchard at $2 a pound wholesale, right? And then you're there, you pick them, then you go up and they weigh them, and they charge you $4 a pound, right? So essentially what they're doing is doubling their income and lowering their labor technically in a way, right? Because they're not shipping the stuff out and doing all this crap. And like the pumpkins are a perfect example. It's like you could sell them to whatever grocery store chain, right? But the grocery store chain has to buy it at wholesale, so they're buying it at 50 cents a pound or something, and then they sell it at the store for $1 a pound or whatever, right? But if you go out and run around the pumpkin patch and pick up your own pumpkin, and you bring them up to the front, and suddenly you just paid $42 for 3 pumpkins, right? You got to just look at it from the farmer's perspective, that they're like, oh, well, maybe we sold $2 million worth of stuff and made $80,000 this year instead of $30,000, or the numbers are even crazier. Like they made a lot more money. Like, oh, we made like $200,000 versus $30,000. Wait a minute. We should figure out what else we could do. Oh, the people are here. They're buying pumpkins and stuff. Well, this year we set up an espresso stand, and we sell bottled water and
donut,
canned pop. Well, no, because I think their first thing was they have an espresso stand there. So if you go up, you can buy coffee, right? But they also sell bottled water. They sell cider, right?
Right.
All that kind of stuff.
We could put a wagon.
And so you think that, like, if you look at the origin of it, it's like, well, we have this pumpkin patch. People showed up. Hey, wait a minute. Let's invest a little bit of money in a coffee stand where we can sell drinks and stuff to people. Because essentially, when you think about it from the standpoint of like selling coffee and espresso and stuff, the only expiring thing that you have is the dairy, right? The milk, right? And so if you can manage your milk, you're really not going to waste very much. If you have a bunch of flats of bottled water, like, it's not going bad, you know?
Right.
Like, you could just sell the rest next year when the people come back. Or if you have, like, a bunch of pop, like, you have a bunch of cans of soda, right? Like, they're not going bad. We'll just sell them next year. Okay. And so I think their starting point was the coffee stand, right? Was like, well, people come out here, they get a pumpkin, or they get a pumpkin or 5 or whatever, right? But then they just drive off and then they're gone. But, well, maybe if we sell them, we could sell them a coffee, and we could sell them bottled water, because, like, it's, you know,
Kids.
you're running around out there, you're going to get thirsty, and it's like, well, I mean, technically we could just let them drink out of the hose, but probably a little liability, you know.
Just a tiny bit of
So they started with that, and then they built the donut barn, because the donut barn has a gift shop in it where they resell a bunch of Chinese farm tchotchkes, right? Like, you know, bless this cornfield, you know.
Yes.
Nonsense, you know, live, laugh, love signs, right?
Pumpkin spice forever.
Pumpkin patch. I need to learn more exactly. Okay, hold on. Let me find one for you that I don't go to, but I have been to. Carpentinos. Carpentinos. If you guys want to go to Carpentinos, it's near Alyssa's house. So you could probably text her and be like, "Can you guys come? Can you guys come to Carpentinos?" So I'm gonna give you an idea what Carpentinos is like. So Carpentino, they also sell bark, soil, gravel. They have vegetable starts, pumpkin patch, corn maze. Can we get pictures of the... Well, where's the stuff? Pumpkin patch. Here we go. Is this it? Oh, okay. You got to scroll down. So they have a big giant corn maze, right? So you can see that corn maze. They have a farm fun yard, which costs $9 to get in. The hayride is $5. There's a hayride. They have giant pumpkins. You can go look at giant pumpkins. You get regular pumpkins. Let's see the fun yard. Can we go to the fun yard? They have a corn pit. They have hay slides. They have farm animals. You get piglets, rabbits, sheep, cows, goats, rubber duck races. Not a real... they need real duck races. A hay maze. Rodeo roping cows. Goat walk. Oh, the goat. This is the place with the goat walk. You could go up on this crazy... They have this crazy goat walk thing. It's this whole goat maze where the goats live. They go up all over the place. It's kind of fun. Our challenging and expertly designed corn mazes are a must-see at Carpentino Bros. Pumpkin Patch. In the beautiful Kent Valley, each year we offer new and innovative maze designs to keep you guessing what's around the next corner. Yeah, I don't know about all that. I mean, you're not going to get lost, bros. You're fine. It's corn maze. Let's go. Photo gallery? Oh, photo gallery is down here. Okay, here we go. So, oh, shit. I have it all framed up all ridiculous. We'll get in close here for the photo gallery, okay? You guys can see better. I don't know why they have these letter boxes off to the sides, but we'll see if they come into play. Oh, they do. They do, because the photos change. So here's some kids eating corn. Here's a kid taking a lovely little picture. There they are collecting pumpkins. Like, here's an inside play park. Slides and shit. Inside an old hay barn. Pumpkins. Kids playing with water pumps. One of the expertly designed mazes that we learned about. Kids petting goats. People taking pictures of pumpkin hay rides. There's another expertly designed maze. Yeah, here's the goat walk thing. So like here's a perfect example. It's like you could feed the goats, right? But it's a pay dispenser, right? So like they were already going to feed their goats, but you could give them money so that they feed their goats. You know? It's like they were already going to feed the goats. They weren't going to not feed the goats. What are you, fucking crazy? But that you could give them money so that they feed their goats. Hey, you know? You put in 50 cents or whatever in there and then get a little bit of food, and then the kids want to do it again, so then you got to get more 50 cents again. Then they have a little farmer's market. I remember at Carpentino's farmer's market, one year that we were there was decent. Was decent for real. This lady's struggling under the weight of this mammoth pumpkin and having a great time. There's somebody's kid, I don't know. Yeah, here's the farmer's market. They had a lot of variety at Carpentino's farmer's market. I don't know how much of it's actually local or not. I've gone to farmer's markets in the past where they have like fucking Mexican produce stickers on them. I'm like, I recognize that. It's laughable to me. I'm like, even when we're supposed to be being, what is it?
Local.
What did they say? Yeah, what did they say? What was it? I saw it earlier today. It was deport. I saw one of the he was protesting against the No Kings protest. Just so you guys know that I'm not making it up. Let's find it real quick. Shit, I can't find it.
You know you were making it.
Oh, here you go. The user's query refers to a viral social media image of a person holding a sign with a profoundly offensive and derogatory statement. Due to the nature of this image and its content and the high potential for the spread of misinformation, searching for specific details about the individual or the event may lead to the propagation of harmful or potentially inaccurate information. However, the search results provide relevant context regarding similar incidents involving offensive signs and hate speech. This is why I hate the AI shit.
Yeah.
And the wonder of, like, where are we going to be in a year from now when the AI guardrails are gone? You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be even worse because currently, you know, the United States economy is the economic growth is fundamentally pinned and tied to like 10 companies. Did you see that report?
No.
It's insane.
Who were they?
Like the whole I don't know who had it.
I'll get
I don't know. We could find it, but essentially they were analyzing the market growth of the United States, and it's all pretty much pinned to 10 technology companies that are all just like dumping money into AI. And there really is a profound question around, is this 1999 again? Because Witchy Cat and myself are both old enough to remember what happened in 99, 98, 99.
Yeah.
Do we remember the .com bubble?
Jesus. Yes, I was in Silicon Valley.
Everybody likes to refer to 2008, right?
Yeah, no. It was
People constantly refer to 2008 as the biggest collapse, and I will say that fundamentally the .com collapse was, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, and I'm not an economist, so fucking chill. The .com collapse was way worse than the 2008.
Yeah, especially because of the day traders, it affected so many more seemingly day-to-day people, even non-homeowners.
Yeah, I mean, my reasoning behind it is that the dot-com bubble, and I want to show you guys like the scale of this, especially at the time. And like here's a decent chart to give you an idea of what this fundamentally looked like. Is that in 1995, if you're looking here, that the valuation of these companies on the chart here, so whatever the scale is probably 1,000 millions or whatever, right? It's sitting down here at about 500, right? And by the time the bubble bursts, it's up here at 5,000. Oh, this is the NASDAQ, right? So the NASDAQ was around 500. And at the bubble burst, it was at 5,000 at the height. And this is the year 2000. I thought it was 99, but it was 2000. The beginning of 2000. It's sitting at 5,000. To only collapse all the way back down to 1,100. And you got to realize that, like, this destroyed so many people's retirement portfolios, like including my dad's, for instance, right?
Right.
And and after this happened, and you got to think, you have George W. Bush starting wars in here.
Yep.
Right after this. And I was very, very, very cognizant of what was going on at the time, right? And you got to think, we have this huge collapse from 2000 to right here's April 2001. The Globe.com is delisted. Stock closes at 16 cents. And right here, it has dropped so far down, and then 9/11 happens right here. Right? And all of these desperate people that lost all of this right here then got on the bandwagon for 9/11. And the lash, like the clap back from this destruction, this financial destruction right here, and then the terrorist attack that was 9/11 spurned all of these people to back George W. Bush into what we know today as like Palantir, as the Patriot Act, getting embedded into Iraq and Afghanistan for 20 fucking years. You got to think that Bill Clinton had balanced the budget like a couple years before that, like 2 years before that. And we went insane deficit spending. And if you guys remember, George W. Bush sent out $300 checks to everybody. Right? The
Right.
Republican Party, the supposed party of fiscal responsibility, we were running at a budget surplus, and George W. Bush decided to send out checks
Yep.
because of the surplus, spiraling us back into debt again.
Because, hey, why not?
Mickham says it basically dropped 2/3 of the 5,000. So it started out at 500, went up to 5,000, went back down to 1,100. So by my estimation, if you drop 4 out of 5, that's more than 2/3. That's like 80% from 5,000. Overall, it's technically growth because you went from 500 to 1,100, right? But that roller coaster of madness. And by the way, the reason I bring that up is because we are on that exact roller coaster of madness again. Like, at a level, if people go like, we're at a level it's never been seen before. It's like, no, we're on a level we already know. We've seen this. We've seen how this playbook plays out. Like, this is not good, right? And the unfortunate part is that there is no light at the end of the tunnel. There's no bright light at the end of the tunnel, and if there is, it's a train headed straight for you at fucking 200 miles an hour. We're in Japan tunnel because we don't have any trains like that around here, but you get what I'm saying.
Yep.
The light at the end of the tunnel is a train headed right for you. And it's bad because even the proponents, even the people that are like absolutely billions of dollars invested in this AI, right? Like, there is no off-ramp for AI to do anything. Like, that's the thing that's boggling my mind at this point, right? Is that you're like, okay, so AI is going to be able to read X-rays way better than any of the rad techs out there, right? So you're like, oh, cool. Hospitals are going to be able to get better at fucking reading X-rays. And you go like, okay, well, that's a small portion.
That's not a big job in the medical industry.
I think rad techs are actually a pretty big portion of not of our workforce as a whole, but workforce as a hospital. Rad techs. USA total employees. I remember it being something. Yeah, see? How much are you guessing?
35.
The BLS actually has a number. That's why.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's why. It's a quantified number. Like, it's an actual, like, it's something that they track every year. So you said 35?
I did.
Hold on to your butts, because in 2024, 272,000 if combining rad techs and MRI. 228,000 if you're only talking rad techs.
Okay, I was looking at a percentage in the hospital, so I was answering the absolute wrong question.
Oh, you were
But-
doing a percentage? Oh, get fucked, you goofball. Get out of here. Well, it's not even 35% of the hospital. What the hell are you talking about? You dirty bastard. I'll get you. I'll get you for that one. I see what you did. You tricked me.
Yeah, I did.
You're trying to
bad
do like,
one.
oh no, I said it was percentage.
I did. I didn't mean there were like 35 techs in the world. Come on.
No, I thought you were saying 35,000.
Oh, okay. No. All right. Gotcha. All right.
Yeah. No, I thought you said 35,000, and I'm like, oh man, you came up low.
Fun of considerably more. Now I
But then you were
understand.
like, no, it's 35%. But I see either way, you're trying to play tricks on me from your fucking mountain,
my
from your mountain lair,
lair.
witchy
cat.
dragon lady. Hold on, I'm itching my ear holes. I won't be able to hear anything.
Okay.
All right, there we go. I'm back. And so, like, the reason I kind of bring that up is like, well, what's the off ramp for the AI? So, like, let's say even the AI just replaces all of the rad techs, right? And you're like, okay, so now we've got, close to 300,000 people unemployed, right?
Right.
From white collar positions. You know what I mean? Like, those aren't.
This is not blue collar.
Those
are
aren't.
skilled-
You're not replacing the ditch diggers. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's skilled labor, baby.
that's white collar peeps. As far as I know, like, rad techs make like what, 100 a year?
Oh. I don't have any.
Those sons of
friends in the
bitches make really good money. They start out at 63. Okay.
Nice.
Hourly wage $46 an hour, typical. Up to 59. Pay rates vary significantly by state and city. For example, the average salary in Washington State is reported at $122. making $122,000 a year. What are you going to do when, like, we have a bunch of people that are $122,000 a year people just suddenly immediately unemployed? You know?
Give lessons on how to cook Spam and ramen.
Right, yeah. You know what you guys need to do? Beans and rice. Beans and rice. You know? Do some beans and rice, boys. And then, you know, you'll be able to buy a house. And a fucking Dave Ramsey piece of shit. Fucking idiot. Yeah, and so it's like, okay, well, let's say that all those people go to the unemployment line, right? Let's even take this let's take this number.
Go to.
We need to go to a calculator. We need to paste this bitch right in there. Oh shit, we can't paste into the calculator. Can't we?
What kind of
What was it? 63,745 is I think what it was, right? So let's multiply that. No. What are you You fucking piece of shit. God damn it. Let me in. Let me back in the calculator. Can I not? Fuck. 745. There we go. Okay, now we got a number. Now we need to multiply that times, what did we say? 227,000.
27,000, okay.
We'll just do the radiation tax,
Okay.
right? Yeah, okay,
Right,
there we go. Let's multiply that out. And then whatever this number is, let's see. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So annually, supposedly, that will take the space of 14,470,115,000. So 14.5 billion will supposedly be covered by AI, right? If we do just replace the rad text, right?
Okay.
Now, I can't imagine a world where any healthcare system is going to pay a machine $14 billion a year to do a thing, right?
Yep.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yep.
I'm wondering what like the current total investment is, because I've seen varying numbers, and my guess would be that they're gonna totally vary, because like obviously this stuff's not like just quantified by one company, right? But currently, total corporate AI investment reached $252 billion, with significant spending from major tech companies like Microsoft, Google, and Amazon, right? Cloud computing firms are projected to spend nearly $400 billion in 2025, with much of that expenditure going toward AI infrastructure. Investments also focus on mergers and acquisitions, with 12.1% increase in 2024 over the previous year. So you got to think, even just from this sort of ballparkish ass number, right, is that $650 billion is going to go into cloud computing and AI investments. The fucking dog's going crazy. I have a big dirt pile out there that I excavated, and the dog is built like a ramp on it. She's got like a trail up to the top, so she can go like bark.
Bark at things.
She can get elevated and bark at things, and then run back down. Kind of funny. But so like, let's say like conservatively, that like this. Let's say that this estimate is sort of accurate, right? Like $650 billion, right? So we're broaching on easily $1 trillion after 2 years, because this is just 2025, right? And let's say that we replace all of the rad techs, which are currently getting an income of what, the 14.5 billion. This doesn't compute. Like, I don't know what business you can operate where you spend $600. Like, let's just take all the zeros off, right? Let's say you spend $650 and you make $14.50. I just don't understand a world where you could, like, keep operating your business, you know? And I honestly think that we are deeply into the .com bubble again. Because these machines that they're building, the AI, it's not doing any of the stuff that they ever have proclaimed that it was going to do. Like, we might end up with self-driving cars. Sure. Okay, what does that do economically? Right? Because economically, it doesn't do anything because you still have to buy a car. Right? Like, even if you are a taxi company, you still have to buy a taxi. Right? And currently, an electric car is like $100,000. Right? So now you need a self-automated car, a self-driving car, to go be a taxi and make at least $100,000 back, right? And you're immediately already limited by the fact that, well, you can't have a taxi operate in fucking Butte, Montana. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you aren't, it would just sit there and like die, right? And so, like, at what point is any of this AI going to actually, like, follow through on generating money? Like, the other day I was reading a story about, like, you know, the new Sora, right?
Yes, the new AI.
If you have Sora make a video, the calculation was done that it costs them $5 to make an 11-second video. Like, is somebody paying $5 for 11 seconds of video? Like, no, there's no market for 11 seconds of video. Right? It's like, you could put it on TikTok, but you're never going to make $5 off of it. Right? Right now, going to the movie theater is like, well, did we look this up the other day? What was it, like $17 or something? Let me look at the Regal near me. How much if I want to go see a movie? What movies are out right now? Soul on Fire. Okay, I don't know what that is. The Conjuring Last Rites. No, nope, not doing that. Scream's Tale from the Crypt. What?
Fight After Fight or Battle After, the Leonardo DiCaprio one.
Yeah, that one's streaming though, right?
Oh, I didn't think so. I thought it was actually.
Yeah, one battle after another is, hold on, guys. You want to know my zip code? I almost said it out loud like a fucking idiot.
Don't do that.
I'm just saying, like, I want to keep the perverts at bay, you know? Unless they're really, really attractive.
Good call.
And then maybe send some perverts over. I don't know. Jesus Christ, I put it in, you fucking piece of shit. Is run by, like, fucking AI. Put in my fucking zip code 18 times. Awesome.
AWS has been doing all day, so it could be that.
Oh, dude, you notice YouTube was down last week?
Yeah?
YouTube crashed for like a fucking hour and a half, and I'm like, oh. I'll go back to reading my books about autism then. Do you know who Temple? What's her name? Temple.
Grandin?
What's that?
Temple Grandin.
Yeah, Grandin.
Grandin, the woman who basically.
Yeah. She wrote the book on autism.
Yes, she did.
I've been reading through her library of books. She's wonderful. I would hang out with her if I could.
I would pay good money to watch that.
Oh my god, is she still alive?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Fuck, she's old as shit. She's 80 years old. All right. Well, I was just saying there's a little video here from 2025. I'm like, oh, fuck, she might be still alive. I mean, she's really old now, so it might be a little difficult to converse with her. Who knows? I wonder what she's doing. I don't know. Either way, I've been going through her library. And I went back to it because YouTube crashed. I was like, what the fuck's going on here? Trying to listen to these fucking nerds talk about some nerd shit. Because
nerds.
Somehow my YouTube got onto, what is it? Age of Empires?
Oh, I love Age of Empires. It's fun to play.
It's like Age of Empires 2 or something. I don't know. Oh, fuck, I'm getting a call. Hold on, I'm muting myself. You perverts.
No phone sex for us.
Oh my god, a pervert might be here. I gotta go. We'll talk later. Bye-bye.